There were 8 of us when we fled to escape. We lived in Hocali in the upper village. Our communication junction was located in the lower village. Until we reached there, we passed over hundreds of dead bodies. It was like fire falling from the sky. There were dead bodies and wounded people all around us. We could hear people shouting and moaning everywhere. We could hardly climb to Kerkuk mountain because of the snow. It was getting bright at that time. We saw that Hocali was burning. Skirmishes, smoke, fire. We could see it from there. They, Armenians, fired at us with artillery while we were trying to escape through the forest. Some were killed at that moment. Then we climbed the hills with the survivors. We stayed 9 nights in the frosty forest. Our hands and feet were frozen. We were left without water in the forest, and everyone was starving.
Cüce kabak karanlığa gelir. Bir geceydi, bir çolun dibine kısıldım. Odun yok, ocak yok, hiçbir şey yoktu. Neyse bir ocak alıp uşaqları kızdırasın. Baktım gördüm ki məndən. Ortancıl uşağım, kızım. 85-ci təvəllüd sevincim. Gördüm ki Müjde o da donur. O da donur. Onu aldım kucağıma, ne dedim? Bağrıma bastım için onu kızdıram. Gördüm yok. Uşaq öyle donur. Gözümün qabağında hesapdaki o uşaq mənim gözümün qabağında dondu, qaldı. Onu da gene üstünü aynı önden örtük ki hiç olmasa kurt kuşunlara değmez. Ondan sonra səhər saçıldı, biz yolumuza devam ederdik. Ölçü yok idi. Paketlerimiz tutulur, gələ bildirik. Balanla gözünün qaban ölür. Ana hal çabalayır, çırpınır ki alasını köpeğiyle niye bilmirik? Gözümün qabağı 10 gün biz meşədə qaldıq. 10 gün. Aç, susuz, çılpan. Bacım balaları, 2 də mənimki, yenə də. Balaca son 5'im, bir də böyüyü, o 81-ci təvəllüd böyük oğlum. Bir də 86-cı təvəllüd balaca oğlum. Onlar həmən günü hesab ilə qondular. İndi bugünkü gündə 3 evlad itirəsən, onların bir nişanələri yox, bir ziyarətləri yox. Anlayın dönümləri gələndirlər. Gedim orada abidlərlə təsəllim aldım. Ünümdə bax, çəkmişlər gələndə, bax, təsəllim onunla aldım.
While trying to flee, many Azerbaijani civilians were ambushed and killed in open fields by Armenian troops. Among the killed were 63 children, 106 women, and 70 elderly.
Armenians came and took us hostages. We were afraid to respond. They were beating us. They were pulling from our hair and hitting our head to the wall. They threw me against the wall, and because of the impact, my teeth were broken, my ear bled, and my eyes became dark, so I could not see. I was not able to speak. I was in a very bad condition at that time. My 3-day-old baby died there.
Ancak bir gün beni o kadar vurdular ki, o kadar dövdüler ki, özümden gitmişim. Bir vaxt ay gözlerimi açtım, baktım ki gözüm açılmırdı. Elimin suyunu vurdum, gözlerimi açtım. Ben gözlerimi açtım, çok çətinliklə ve gözlerimi açtım ki her yer karanlıktı, her yer zülmətliydi. Onda hiss elədim ki mən bayırdayım, həyətdəyim. Bədənim o kadar döyülüb ki, həm də soyuqdan bədənim keyləşir, hiss eləmirəm, heç nə hiss eləmirəm. Əlimi yanağıma vururam, hiss eləmirəm, gözümə, saçıma vururam, hiss eləmirəm, heç nə bilmirəm. Qışqırdım ki, kimsə var burada dedim. Bir qoca erməni gəldi, o Azərbaycan dilində onlar danışırdılar. O mənə dedi, hələ sən ölməmisən dedi. O mənim saçım var idi, uzun saçım var idi. O tutdu saçımdan məni, haradasa 12-13 metr sürüdü, apardı. Mən bir zaman ayrıldım ki, mənim paltarım yoxdur. Tam lüt vəziyyətindəyəm.
The violence committed against the people in town of Hocali was no accident, nor was it an exchange of fire between two groups of armed combatants on a battlefield. Mass murder and excessive force were employed as tools of intimidation and demoralization against the Azerbaijani civilian population of Karabakh. The current president of Armenia, Sargsyan, was the military commander of the Armenian forces in Nagorno-Karabakh throughout 1992. The time and place of the Hocali massacre. While serving as Armenia's defense minister in 2001, Sargsyan was infamously quoted by Thomas de Waal, a British author and journalist who is one of the most preeminent experts of the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, as saying, before Hocali, the Azerbaijanis thought that they were joking with us. They thought that the Armenians were people who could not raise their hand against the civilian population. We need to put a stop to all that, and that's what happened. President Sargsyan indicated that the depths of brutality against civilians were purposeful and meant to engender deep and lasting fear in the people of Azerbaijan, approving the deadly serious goal of defeating Azerbaijan.
By 1994, Armenian troops, supported by the Russian army, had managed to carve out Nagorno-Karabakh itself, plus a number of provinces of Azerbaijan that surround Karabakh, and ripped it away from Azerbaijan.
On that day, I accidentally chose that route. I was flying by the hillside because, in that case, the helicopter is less visible and those areas are usually less populated. On the left side of the hillside, on the route to Azgaran, we saw very strange things. A lot of colorful things on the ground. I think that there were at least 300 to 500 corpses of people because that path of death was too long. I still see that picture. The path was at least 300 to 700 meters, or maybe 1 kilometer, not less. They died while they were walking in rows. Of course, it was hard to separate, but there were children also among them. We could see small corpses as well. Every time when such assaults happened, they would let children and women go, but this time they didn't. Why? I don't know. Maybe something went wrong or this was a pre-planned action against civilians. The people could not make it to Agdam. They just had to cross the hill and the other side was Agdam and they would have been safe. But they installed the machine guns in such a perfect way that everyone was in a trap and they killed everyone.
So we know that they accounted for 600 or so dead because they got the bodies and they did autopsies, which are, they did in Agdam. They took the bodies down there. But we have lots of eyewitness testimony to the dead bodies on the hillside there. That by the time that Westerners got there the following day, the bodies were frozen.
Although the tragic event happened 25 years ago in a small country in the Caucasus Mountains, many in the international community have recognized the massacre and condemned the perpetrators responsible.
So when I learned about it, it's one